Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. A while ago, somebody pinged me in chat in-game and was asking what I'm thinking about the Alabama, the American Tier 8 premium battleship. And I was looking at it, said it doesn't have a rapid reload, not really battleship, so crazy, don't know, not really excited. And then of course Wargaming went and sold the thing for half price, and I'm like, oh, bugger. Alright, I'll take it. Let's look at it. So here we are, and here I am, and this is the Alabama. And since she was 50% off, which is a relatively unusual amount of discount that Wargaming was giving, it's possible that a fair amount of people actually have this ship, or will encounter this ship in Tier 8 battles, because there just might be a couple of them around. So, the Alabama. What does she look like? She's an American battleship. I haven't gotten any tech tree American battleships because I haven't done the American battleship tech tree at all. I've got a couple of lower tier premiums, so I'm kind of having a general idea, but obviously this is tier 8, so kind of curious to see what comes out of this thing. So she has 48,000 hit points. Citadel protection isn't great, 12.5, but not terrible either. She gets the 25% fire and flooding resistance. If you remember the patch 2.3, where the fire and flooding resistance was upped for the British battleships. This seems to be one of them. I don't know if she had that before or not, because I don't remember her statistics, but she does have it now. 15% damage reduction is okay, and the torpedo damage reduction is very good, actually, with 27% with my current setup. Other than that, she has a max speed of just over 26 knots, so she does about 27. She is relatively quick to get off the start, so only 26 seconds to full speed. The turn time is not great, but she's a battleship, what do you expect? They're not known to turn extremely well. The guns, arguably the main thing about the battleship. So we have 3 triple turrets, 406mm 45 Mark 6 guns. I think this is the same as on the North Carolina in the tech tree. They have a 22-second reload. They have a 14.8 kilometer range. Now again, I can't really compare because I don't have the tech tree ships fully upgraded, so I can only guess, but that is a rather long range. And this kind of seems to be the setup as well. So a high explosive damage is decent, 13% chance of setting fire is as well. The armor piercing damage, which with 1900, the alpha damage, is very good, I think. Definitely higher than the Bismarck's 380 mil main batteries, and 5 degrees traverse is standard for battleships. She's got 10 secondary guns. These are 127mm destroyer guns with a 6-second reload, which is very good, and a 5.8 kilometer range, which isn't bad either. So these are very decent secondaries, and she can put up basically 3 salvos between reloads, almost. Sorry, more than 3 salvos between reloads, almost. So decent secondaries. In a point defense against the destroyer, they're not going to be enough, but they're there, and you can set fires with them as well. In terms of anti-aircraft, she's quite strong. So I've had battles where I was the focus of a carrier, and I ended up getting a clear skies with over 20 planes shot down, 378 large AA damage, and 297, almost 300 on the small caliber AA. So she can fend for herself against the carrier. That's kind of my experience. Definitely, if you're playing carrier, you may want to avoid trying to target this ship down, because she can definitely fend for herself. In terms of concealment, well, it's a battleship, 11.2 kilometers. So what do we have? We've got the Advanced Gun Director in the Elite bonus to increase the firing range. I could have gone with the Damage Control Center for fire and flooding resistance, but remember, this is 15% off the actual value. So this would have been around 3 percentage points on the 25 percentage points we already have. So also that's that's something you can pretty much do with modules. I figured I'd go with extended range because she gets a ship skill. And unlike the normal tech tree American battleship, who get the rapid reload, she gets a precise aiming system, and not the number one. She gets the number 2 precise aiming system. So 35% accuracy increase, which in combination with the very, very long range kind of tells me this is meant to be a sniper battleship. This is meant to be a long range, not necessarily a brawler ship. The description says that she has a sensible armor layout and solid protection. So I read that as average, and that kind of coincides with what I've seen as well. So she's a long range ship. Okay, so figured if it's a long range ship, what am I going to put in the equipment slots? Well, it's very tempting on a 22-second reload to go with the main battery modification. And actually one of my viewers just posted a video about his setup for the Alabama, and as far as I remember, he had the main battery modification and the speed in slot 3. For me, I've gone with the dispersion mod, because if I'm shooting at extreme ranges with a 22-second reload, I could get this reload down by a second, but I'd rather actually the shells land on target, because 1 second reload doesn't give you all that much of a benefit, because especially at long ranges you don't always have the targets in, don't always have a target in sight. So I'd really rather my shells land on target. So that was my thinking at this point, long range sniper. The second slot, I started out with my standard with the damage control kit, which is kind of the thing we would have gotten from the elite bonus as well. Now, this is my first experience with the buffed fire and flooding resistance. I didn't like it. I got set on fire so many times. I got burned down by HE spammers nonstop. 25% fire and flooding resistance, not doing it for me. So even with the damage control system module, I still got set on fire pretty much permanently. So I switched over to the deck protection mod, and that has made things a little better, because I still don't know what the exact difference is between fire on deck and general fire prevention. Maybe there's fires that are not set on deck but are set in the superstructure. I don't really know. But this has made things a little better, and this is an experience I had from my German battleships as well, where I had the same problem. And in general, when it comes to fire, the deck protection mod works better for me than the general damage control system. And the third slot, I've put into torpedo defense mod, because she does have a very decent torpedo defense already, torpedo damage reduction already. So I figured I'll buff this a little more. Also, she is relatively quick for a battleship, and if I am playing long range, I don't need huge amounts of speed. Concealment, yes, you could, but what for? Once you shoot, your bloom is going to be all over the map. So I figured not. The anti-air buff might have been interesting as well. So a range buff for air defense. I'm always hesitant to do air defense equipment slots, because you don't always have carriers in the games. In fact, I probably have carriers in about 1/3 of my games that I play. So 2/3 of the time, I'm losing one equipment slot, because this doesn't do anything if there are no airplanes around. So I tend not to do that. In terms of supplies, no surprises here. I've got the crew rations for reload, I've got the maintenance for hit points, and that gets her almost round about to 50,000, and the refined diesel for a bit more ship speed. Could have very well gone with the extra AA ammo, but then again, traverse speed 5% is nothing to sneeze at in a battleship. The commander, I've actually lifted him from the tier 4 premium, and that I've got laying around. So he's on the Alabama now. And again, nothing surprising here. Underwater protection, the torpedo alert. I've got the artillery maintenance instead of the high alert. because I figured, hey, very good fire and flooding resistance on these things. Yeah. Artillery maintenance, better traverse and better dispersion unless you're damaged under 75% of your health, which in a battleship tends to take a little bit if you're not getting shot at. The victorious charge to just recover some health because, it doesn't make sense on air defense expert or anything. I could have gone with the fire supremacy to get another precise aiming, but I think 3 is about enough with the marksman skill that should do. So I'd rather have the survivalist on a battleship. This is quite an important skill for me. The generalist, which increases fire and flooding resistance after a damage control kit being used, and it also recovers HP. So far this is really my standard battleship layout. The one skill I'm obviously keen about is the marksman skill to improve the precise aiming, and that I know that on the German battleships with the 19-second reload it gets me 2 salvos off. I'm not 100% sure if it will be enough for the 22 seconds on the American, but we'll find out when we get there. And then other than that, there's nothing really surprising coming up. Obviously, at some point, the armor-piercing cap shell, but it takes a long time to get up there, or you need to burn through some serious amounts of free XP to get there. So that would be my commander setup. Now, in terms of camo, this thing comes with the ice hockey camo. So I don't know anything about ice hockey, I'm sorry. But I don't usually like the special camos. So I would have much preferred the historical camouflage, even though it's very plain on this ship. So this actually looks a bit better. But the color scheme is not bad, right? It's red, white, and blue, so it's kind of American flag-ish. It doesn't look completely outrageous like the Azure Lane things, which I really would never sail by myself. I mean, it's fine if you like these kind of things, right? No, there's no accounting for taste. But I personally, this does nothing for me. In terms of bonuses, it increases the hit points, the range, improves the dispersion, and increases the torpedo damage reduction. So, again, for me, that's all that setup screams long range sniper, long range ship. And this is the exact same setup as the historical camo, by the way. It just looks a bit different. So, that is the ship in numbers. But, how does she play? Now, let's try it out. Okay, what are we? Bottom tier. As a carrier, but at least it's a bot. Iowa, another Alabama, Bismarck. And 2 destroyers. Takao is a bot, so we don't have to worry about that one. And we're playing Aurora. We're going to get a good sniping position here. Not so much. Depends if anybody goes C. Otherwise, we might just kind of stick in the middle here. There's a Freddy. Freddy, are you going C? I'd love for you to go C, then I'll support you. If you decide not to, I can't blame you with 2 destroyers. Okay, so we are getting up to speed rather quickly. We're over 20 knots already. And I'm certainly overtaking that Freddy over there, almost. Yeah, Freddy goes C. Okay, so let's swing the guns around. And the Benson goes C as well. Okay, let's push C and see if we can flank them from this side. So, yeah, 14.8 kilometers range. That is an extremely long range. First DD is in B. So we got to watch out a little bit, because of course we're spotted already. And there's something and it's already in range. What's it? It's a Bismarck, but he's behind the island. So better targets over here. Okay. Let's get precise aim up. There's the Loyang. Oh. And we got... Okay, did they get the Loyang? Loyang goes after Freddy. Loyang is dead, very good. So we can get our butt in here and see that we do something about that stationary Iowa over there. Ow! I'll use my first heal. Oh, is he reversing? 3 hits on an almost broadsiding Iowa. Okay, I didn't take into account that he was reversing. There's the other destroyer. There's the Z. Is he in secondary range? I might have to deal with him first, although that Iowa starts really hurting. That's only over pens. We're gonna need high explosive against DDs in this. Do we have escorts? Yes, we have a Benson. Okay, Benson should be able to deal with the Z. So let's see that we dodge the Iowa and get some shots out. Broadside Iowa, 9.6 kilometers. Let's see what we can hit. 7 hits, not bad, not bad. And we might need to get a little bit forward because there's the carrier. We're only holding one of the caps, so we're going to need to sink something soon. And that Z's still alive. Iowa's motoring away the other direction. There's some torpedoes coming. Okay, that's some better hits. And some relatively decent penetrations. There. Okay. What's that? Low young torps? No, don't have range. Let's see if we can snipe the Iowa from here. So that's one of the advantages of this thing. Is the massive range that you can shoot ships on the other side of the map with this. But it might not be quite enough. Oh, come on. So close. Okay. I want that Iowa dead. Because we're going to need these points. Oh, he's out of... Come on. Someone give me visual on that thing. Okay. We shoot the carrier in the meantime. And swing around. Okay. Got some decent penetrations. More young torps. Yep, seen them. There's an enemy Alabama. How's the Freddy doing against that Bismarck? Not so great. Okay, we're gonna have to help the Freddy out here. Yeah, we lost the Iowa. That's a pity. Because we didn't get visual on him anymore, so he's pretty much gone. Okay, Bismarck at 8 kilometers. Flat broadside, what's it look like? Semi-pens. We're pretty much bouncing off the Bismarck's armor, almost bouncing off the Bismarck's armor here, which is unfortunate. Okay. Alright, we've got this, boys. There's no need to come down here. Grab the cap circles, please. Capture area B. I've got this. Bismarck's pointing the guns in the wrong direction. And he's low on health. I got this from here. Even though I don't relish being in a close-up fight with the Bismarck, but if he's that low and on this close range until he's got his guns and I've got a heal up. Oh, we can Citadel a Bismarck at this range. Oh, come on, turn! Come on! Turn, you bastard! It's trying to out-turn me, but it's not going to help you. I got you. Okay. We need to kill something. I only have 30 seconds left. So, what is that battleship over there? We've got the range. Is that the low health Iowa? Or is that something else? No, that's another Alabama. Crap. Okay, well, let's make use of our precise aim activated. Our aim. He's turning, so we know that's not gonna be enough. We lost the carrier, I think. Nope. Well, 76,000 is not bad. Actually, that is one of the better results I've had in this thing. Because the usually I'm not as lucky with the hits, especially at range. But that's not a bad result. So let's do a second one. And let's just kind of keep going and see how the next one turns out. Okay, Northcal, Nagatuk, Gneisenau, Triple Brooklyn, and a Kagero. Okay, Golden Channel. This is getting interesting. We're top tier. So let's see where we spawn. We're spawning right flank. Okay, sounds good. Right flank it is. Don't need to rush too much forward because we have the range to actually get all the way across the cap circle. Okay. So, I'm still annoyed about that Iowa getting away. in the last one more salvo and I would have had him. Anyway, so yeah, the precision at range is not as good as I would want to, and especially the penetrating power of the armor piercing at range. I mean, you've seen I've done mostly half pens against that Bismarck. Okay, I managed to citadel him. I got really lucky. You normally can't easily citadel a German battleship at that range, but it was point blank, and I was able to get through. Lucky angle there. But still, the overall penetrating power. I've bounced shells off of a light cruiser at 10 kilometers. Not semi-pens, bounced off light cruisers. Like that Brooklyn over there. Let's see what we can do with that guy. Oh, he's turning out. And we need a bit more lead. Yeah, no hits. No hits at all. Okay, there's another Brooklyn. And he's coming way too close for his own good. Torps? Where? I don't see any torps. Oh, okay. Hello, Mr. Brooklyn. Well, let me dispatch of this Brooklyn and then we can talk about it. Yeah, now you realized that you done messed up. Ah, he's dead. There we go. Brooklyn dead. Okay. What else is in here? Oh crap, there's a Kagera in there. And he's after me. And I've got a Nagato in my face. That's unpleasant. Okay, Mr. Kagera. It's not ideal to shoot armor piercing at a Kagero, but we actually got a couple of penetrations. So we got lucky there. I seem to have warded off the Kagero, but we're getting way too much hammered here by these two. We can't turn in. The Kagero tries to set us on fire. Okay, Nagato, can we hit the citadel from here? No, we got a bounce 4.8 kilometer off a bloody Japanese battleship. That's disappointing. Yeah, I've got other problems. I'm holding two battleships down here. You people go capture the target area. Okay, come on. Reload. Okay, let's try that again. Two bounces at 5 kilometers off a Japanese battleship when I'm hitting him right at the waterline. That's ridiculous. So this is the thing that annoys me about these guns, is that the accuracy and the penetration sometimes is really lacking. Okay, we've got an overpen on a Nagato on her bow. I could use some help here, by the way. Just saying, would be nice. Somebody at some point. Okay, swing the guns around. And swing the ship back again. Come on, swing. Nope. Semi-pens. I'm not even getting full pens against the Nagato. And I'm shooting him right in the turrets. And of course, there comes the Kagero, forcing me to turn because he's got torpedoes away. Okay, can we at least get this little bugger? Where are you going, mister? Yeah, I know. Nope, can't do with fires right here. That was one spread. Where's the other one? Okay. I'm kind of out of range of these people. But now the Nagato comes around the corner, which means I'm screwed. Turn. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Okay, I'm probably dead. Yep, almost. And I'm still bouncing the flat broadside of a Nagato at 5.7 kilometers. That is ridiculous. So this is kind of the problem I'm having with these guns, is that they are not reliably able to do damage. Yeah, there we go. I mean, we fought well. We pulled two battleships. We murdered a cruiser. We kept the Kagero occupied. We pulled a battleship. and a cruiser completely out of position, which is what I was trying to do, right? I was trying to keep this flank defended so the rest of my team could swarm the cap circle. And look how that worked out. I mean, everyone's in the cap circle. And they're all looking, well, the Brooklyn there doesn't look so fresh anymore, but the rest of them is not too terrible. Belfast there in the cap circle is doing great. Setting the North Cal on fire. Let's see if we can follow him a bit. There we go. I mean, that's the only thing you can do with a Belfast. And look how he's varying speed and going forward and backwards. That is to make sure. And then he stops again and goes forward again. That is to that is basically scraping. So in case the North Carolina decides to fire at him, he can't. There's a good chance that the shells land either short or land behind him. And he burned him down. Well done. So it's not a bad battleship. Right? It's not a terrible battleship. I think the purpose really is long range. Even though the secondaries are very good, the brawler capabilities are just not there the same way that you say a Bismarck. And sometimes the guns just troll you. I mean, you've seen that. You've seen me shooting at this Nagato, right? That was really disappointing. That's a tier 7 Japanese battleship at a flat broadside of at what 5 to 6 kilometers, so close range, basically point blank. With any German battleship, with a Bismarck, with a Gneisenau probably even, or even with a Hood at tier 7, with the 380 mils, I would have almost been guaranteed to Citadel this thing. I've done this more than once, and the guns just don't punch through. Sometimes you get the good Citadels, but I mean, you've seen. Look, we've shot at. We have no Citadels. We've shot at. Remember that? What did we think? The Brooklyn tier 7 light cruiser at 5 at point blank range in the broadside, and I'm not managing to get the Citadel hit with this thing. So the penetration of the guns I'm disappointed with. It's kind of similar to. They really remind me, by the way, of some other guns. They do remind me. Let me quickly see where she. Remind me of the Nelson's guns. I have the same problem with the Nelson. She's also got the 406 millimeter L45s, and while she does much better high explosive damage, I don't know if this is a shared gun. This is an interesting thing. Look at this. This is a 406 millimeter L45 Mark 1 3x3. So the Alabama 406 millimeter 45 Mark 6. Was that the same as the Nelson? No, sorry, that's an L45 Mark 1. Okay, I thought these were the same guns because they really feel very, very similar in their armor piercing behavior. I have the same problem with the Nelson. I just can't penetrate anything, and this is the problem I've got with the Alabama as well. Now I don't know if this is symptomatic for American battleships. It certainly isn't for German battleships. I can tell you that much. So while the alpha damage looks super impressive with almost 2,000, the penetration, in my opinion, is lacking, and especially at range. So this is a prime. This might work better when you have the respective commander skill, but that's a long way up. So again, I don't have a comparison against the tech tree. She's not a bad ship. Personally, is she one of my favorites? Probably not. So in retrospect, nah. Interesting ship in that she has a really, really long range, which lets you pull off saves like, well, I tried in the first game to get that Iowa and try to get these long-range sniper shots. In that, she's just very useful, right? So you could use her, for example, for carrier sniping, provided you have somebody spotting the darn thing. Or you could use her for, well, just hitting things at range. But then again, with the penetrations, that I'm not reliably able to hit something like a light cruiser. So if you're facing an HE spammer like a Shapayev or a Mogami at tier 8, and you try to hit them at 10-kilometer range, if you're lucky, you get two or three hits out of 9, and then one of them bounces, one of them is a semi-pen. You're not getting anything done at this range unless you're shooting at big targets that are slow to move. So, very interesting ship, but definitely not one of my favorites. So now you know what you can do. So if you either have one, and if you're much more successful than me with this thing, then please do let me know. Maybe I'm just doing this wrong. Or if you're facing one in battle, then you have an idea of kind of what this thing can do. I mean, you still shouldn't broadside her, but I'm struggling to get reliable citadels even on broadsiding cruisers with this thing. So anyway, that's it for today, and we'll see what we do next week. But I wanted to put that in because it was the 50% off sale, so you're seeing these things around quite a bit, and I happen to have one in port, so there we go. Anyway, that's it for today. See you next week. Bye.